Test. Check, check. Hello, hello. Hello, Davos. Let's hear it up for Davos. Yes, we trust. Come on now, you can do better than that. Yes, we trust. Yes, we trust. Yes, we trust. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a wonderful evening from here on. And we really appreciate all of you to sit down as much as possible. Guys in the back, I request you to please be quiet and listen to the panel. There's an amazing, incredible panel set up for you. The team has been working non-stop for months to deliver this. And in spite of so many challenges, I can promise you that you're going to have an incredible time, amazing connections. Are you guys making some real good connections? That's what this is about. Let's do this.
Amazing MC, bro. Okay, guys, how are you doing? How was your day? My day was challenging. And so my first message before we start to talk about the official program is you can overcome anything that is in front of you. With faith, you can move mountains, guys. So believe in yourself. You are powerful beyond imagine. Okay, today we talk about noblesse oblige. Matt from our team came up with this beautiful sentence. Who knows what this means? Wow. 2 persons. 3. Okay. Noblesse oblige means the obligation of the privileged ones to be generous, to do good. And so if you look outside into the world, how does the world look like? Are the leaders of today leading in our favor or in their own favor? Are they leading for the big part of humanity or out of own interests? I see a lot of pain and suffering when I see outside into the world. And I wished that we can be the change we wish to see in the world, as Gandhi said so beautifully. So we have created in Yes We Trust a Noblesse Oblige Club, where we want to bring together family offices, high net worth individuals, investors, who not just want to create profit, but also impact. And that's all about. So what is your privilege, guys? What is something that you are privileged about? Might be up here in Davos, might be having flowing water, might be having a community, might be having faith. So we're going to have a debate today about noblesse oblige and the obligation of the privileged ones. That was the opening, and now we're going to start with a panel. And so all the panelists, please come in front to crush the stage. Microphones. Hola, chicos. Hola, hola. What? We are not we are not fulfilling the quotient, the female equality quotient. We are male, only men today. So yeah, that's a fact. Okay, guys. First of all, what is something that you are privileged about in your own personal life?
Who is the question to?
Everyone.
I'll take this. I'll give it a kickstart. Privilege. I feel privileged to be so many things, when so many things cross your mind. Privilege is when you're really, it comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a lot of, gratitude. Being privileged is being up here. Being privileged is, I was one of the panels in family office panels in Los Angeles, and there was one of the oldest family offices, Medici family, and Lorenzo was sitting in the crowd, and he asked a question, and he said, "Craig, where do you see yourself, and in 3 years from now?" And I said, "You know what? I'm really privileged to be in a room like this. I'll be sitting in the audience and learning from people like you guys. And when the day I stop learning, I'll stop living. So being privileged is, being really humble and comes with a lot of responsibility and gratitude.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah, for me, it depends. Privilege, you immediately associate value. And depends what you value mirrors your privilege. And there's multiple forms of value, multiple forms of capital. For me, where I feel most privileged is spiritual capital. Really the ability to walk my path as an entrepreneur, self-fulfill myself, realize myself, and also have the ability to give back. I'm privileged in so many ways that I could not even count. I live in technically speaking, one of the wealthiest country in the world by GDP per capita, Principality of Liechtenstein. I get to innovate, I get to do, and everything I do it with a mind, how is this going to apply to other communities where that can actually make ends meet, that can actually bring more value and connect capital across all dimensions.
Beautiful. I feel privileged to be alive on an incredible planet. When I see trees, just looking out the window, it's such an incredible experience to have this life and to be in this world at this point in time when we have so much potential. I feel a really great obligation to being of service to this planet, to help it thrive, to help people and nature thrive, and to unlock the abundance that is there in life, right? The infinite abundance that we all have, and to liberate us from these incredible shackles that are there, put these constraints that are totally artificial and created. That is something that I'm called for, I'm just so thankful here to be here and to be alive on this amazing planet with such amazing people.
It's not that easy because I do leadership programs, and at one time in a workshop I asked, so we learned how to lead and put a lot of energy to uplift others and do a lot. And I said, what do you do for yourself? So I have a technique, it's called Happy Box. So I said, please write down in the morning what do you do to be happy, in the afternoon and the evening. And please come back tomorrow. Write as much you can. It should be 50 things on that list. When I do the exercise, it's mostly 2 things in the morning. Coffee is one. And then in the afternoon, before I come home, almost nothing. So it's like 10. I say at least 50. So I was in London and did this program. And then next day, one lady said, I worked all night on this. I said, oh, wow. You did this? How much do you have on your list? Nothing. I don't see it anymore. I don't see what's beautiful. I don't see the privilege because I don't feel it. I'm running through the day. Because when we look at other people, and I'm sure if we would do a happy box list, what can I do for my sweetheart? What can I do for my kids? What can I do for others? The list would be big. But if we look to ourselves, so what's our privilege? It's very difficult. I would love to give you one example. We talk about school a lot, school education. This is a privilege, 300,000 kids working. This is a privilege. Now I'm asking you, who of you remembers, everybody of you, who of you remembers of one teacher you're fond of? You think that was a great teacher? Show hands. Please keep up the hand. Would you run? I would ask you, who is the name of that teacher, giving appreciation to that teacher, and why was that a good teacher for you? You choose. You choose. Anybody. Fast. So who's his or her name and why?
This is a teacher from school in the 9th grade. I'm still in touch with this teacher. I go on a holiday with this teacher once a year.
And
Once a year,
Fantastic.
I meet her for a weekend and we go on a trip. We try to do it on New Year's Eve to get a lowdown on how
what
the
is
year
special
went.
about her?
Everything was special about her. She
Give
was just,
one thing.
She was radical. You know,
What
her
makes
thought
her good?
process was radical. She had adopted her second child at a time in India where adoption was just frowned upon and looked upon as crazy.
Nice. Thank you very much. Next person. Next teacher. Please.
Yeah, it was my college teacher called Jeff Walpole.
Jeff, what did he do?
He used to do my work for me.
Yes, my favorite teacher was my teacher for Latin because he was a storyteller. So he made everything, he made something that was seemingly very difficult, it made it easy because he was telling stories.
My favorite teacher was my high school history teacher. Her name was Mrs. Davis, and she taught me that you have to understand the past to really understand where you're going to go in the future and how to do critical thinking.
My teacher was for physics, and he was talking about glasshouse emissions, and I kept that in my mind very long. So especially when I was working for an ecologic democratic party, talking about sustainability. So I remember that again, that he always emphasized on this topic. It will be very important.
Thanks so much. So my teacher is actually from university. I did med school. It's important detail because it's 7 years. And it was a professor that we met in the first year. And what I loved a lot, she believed unconditionally in what we do. And she always was there. And the more I grow up, the more I understand what she did. It's really unconditional love that teacher gave.
Now, unconditional love from the teacher. How many students the teacher had? Many. And they gave it all to you. So that's a privilege, isn't it? So we pass it on. So what leadership? Who of you is a leader and manager? Is that a privilege? Trusted of people. So to close it, I'm sorry it takes so long, but I'm almost crying here. So imagine 50 years from now, 20 years from now, your employees, your direct reports are interviewed. They're 88 years old, 99 years old. They are asked 2 questions. Who is the teacher you remember and why? And who is the leader you remember and why? And I wish they say your name because you're a great leader, because you're giving a promise back. For me, every privilege carries a promise. I promise, pay it back, pay it forward. If you have contact to your teacher years back, go to a holiday. I don't know it's possible, but this is beautiful. So that's my privilege thing. Thank you.
Gary, wow. My privilege is to call you friends, brothers, business partners on the same mission. I believe every one of us in this room is privileged. We are blessed to be here. And my next question would be, we see the challenges in our world, and we see leaders who are leading in a positive way, but we also see leaders who are destroying ourselves, war, destruction, poverty. How can we step up as leaders? How can we individually or as a community take care that we not just talk about these things, but really create impact? Deep one.
Be me again. First of all, after listening to all of you also, on the back of my mind, you know, being privileged is also a perspective, right? You know, for something that, you know, for your life, you might be like, you know, oh man, what a difficult day and a difficult life. There may be people who are like thinking, oh my God, I wish I had that life, you know? So it's a very perspective thing, but being privileged is, like I said, it comes with a lot of responsibility, and it's the small things that make the difference. It's the little things every day, in every act, whether it's just giving somebody a hope. You know, it doesn't have to be with money, doesn't have to be with, any physical or, tangible thing, but it could be a support mentally and being there for somebody, you know. And because you are in a better condition, you're privileged that you're in that situation. But somebody may be in a very devastating state of mind, or even in real life, you know, when they are dealing with so many issues. I mean, I'm all up for, you know, all these people. I mean, I have nothing against WEF, but I'm not with them, you know, either. You know, I'm not those. They are very privileged, and they don't think about the poor. They're, you know, what good is a $1 trillion company or a $1 billion company when 1 million kids are dying out of hunger, right? So it's a social responsibility of every individual. And you touched upon a very good thing, like what are the responsibilities, right? It's a momentum that you build every step of the way. That how can you serve? What actions can you take in every day, whether it's coming to Davos, whether it's living in an apartment, whether it's eating at a restaurant, or whether it's buying a jacket, suit, shoes, whatever you're doing. How are you making an impact on somebody else's life that is helping them create a new life, a better life for themselves? So there is many ways to give back. There's many ways to give, but if you make this a culture, if you make this a habit, if you make this a everyday thing, that every transaction should be giving back to the less privileged, then I think we can make the difference. We don't need to wait for the governments or the billionaires sitting in that Congress over there.
Giving is receiving.
Yeah, I'd like to address the point about the power that leaders have that are not doing good in the world, and why are we empowering them, right? And I think the solution is for us to step into our own power as people, you know, and not to be led by these people that don't have the best interest of people in the world. I think that a lot of this comes back to the brochure that you showed, empowering kids in early education, really, to step into their power, to know that they, can lead, and they can take an initiative, they can act, and they can, change the world. And I think there's, everyone has this potential for emergent leadership, right? These are the teams that work the best, where, in a particular situation, whatever emerges, a person will step up into their power and lead at that point. So, to me, it has a lot to do with that.
I was thinking that willpower is it, the 100% commitment. If I look to IQ, EQ, and FQ, and to be equal, if people come together, and I heard 12 would be enough to start, and they want something, I want this. And look where we're here right now. She started it all alone, equality. And sometimes we Germans, we look at other countries and look about equality, but if you look back in time, when was the first time women could decide what they could choose as a job? It's 1969. It's not long ago. And it took 10 years more that this was real. Every woman had to ask her husband if she can take money. They got pocket money. So the willpower to change, the will. So now, before we started, 3 students from the Rosenberg Institute came, stood up, and said, what is this leadership thing? What does a CEO do? It's willpower. I want to learn. I want to grow. And so we made a little 9-chamber training here. Fantastic. Now I'm interested. Can I see this? This is willpower. And if we align our will, then we can change things. And we need patience. If you have will, power, your patience is endless.
And with great power comes great responsibility. I bring the perspective of the indigenous cosmology in Mesoamerica, where I was born. There's a saying that says, "In lakech alakim," which means, I am another you, you are another me. And I think if you really embody that understanding and realize that, beyond the illusion of separation, we are all in effect one, that means that everything that you start doing from that place of empowerment is service to another. Really, truly grasping that makes life so much easier because you're not in doubt, you're not in worry. You can really align all your willpower towards what aligns most immediately to kind of contribute to that. And also to Alan's point, I think one of the most important things to be made aware is that in terms of our individuation, I think human beings are innately good, but what we've been conditioned to do is sort of separating ourselves from our true roots. And from that deep conditioning, I think it's our personal responsibility to decondition. And from that place of deconditioning, stop the creation of the damage that we're applying to not only ourselves, but to people and planet. And only through that we can start working towards the right direction.
How many mushroom trips were needed to have this consciousness?
Work and meditation.
Amazing. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here on stage. We have an amazing program ahead of us. I love the fact that I call you not just friends, but business partners. And together, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I'm so grateful to have you by my side. And that's the beauty of Davos. I feel there are so many people out there with the desire to create a better world, and Davos creates this feeling of you're not alone out there. There are so many amazing people building puzzle pieces of this new world that we are all envisioning. So thank you for building pieces and for adding your valuable insights. Mike, I just continue to give you the stage, Jerry. You are doing such a fantastic job, so please, an applause for Gary.
Yeah, okay. So is trust a privilege? Is trust a privilege? So how does it feel to have trust? Now, let's have a little exercise. I would like you, if you may, please, would you stand up and pair up with two? Just stand up, pair up with two. Two. Or you with me, and you with one. Okay. Just one.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I go with you. I'll go with you. You're here? And you too. All right. Can you hold it to my mouth? All right. Okay, here's the exercise. 3, 2, 1. So you stand in front of each other. You stand in front of each other. The distance of your feet is your performance. Now the goal is to get as far back, go 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 back. So please do now. Everybody, please do now. Go how fast away as you possibly can. First two. First two. Later. Just. All right. Please come back. This here. Please hold it. Just hold it so I can speak. All right. Question: easy or difficult? Easy. But how does it work? How do you create that trust? Because I don't know her. If she has like Spanish blood and I just fall over, she said ole and I'm on the floor. How do we create trust? How did you do this? Say it. How did you do it? You trusted right from the beginning 100%? No. Because this is not wise. Because sometimes you can fall down. So when we meet here in Davos people and say, can you do this for me? Yes, of course. So I do this for you. But trust is gained through what? Holding commitments. It's holding commitments. So now, symbolically, I say to her, I hold you. And I hold, now go back one, now I hold you, stay. I hold you. Now, you promise to hold me. Now, you go a little bit back. Now, the point of return is gone. If someone of us is not doing, we're falling down, right, like you right now. So the secret of trust is holding commitments and to have a strong will of, I promise, I hold it. If I cannot hold my promise, I will tell you for the next time. I cannot do it on Monday. Can we do another commitment? So we should not break our commitments making a new one. But this is only one-on-one working, right? No, please go in groups of 3. As far as you can go. All right, that's great. All right. Thank you. Please look back. Please look back. You come here. See, what happens is, thank you. Please don't fall down, have a look. See, what happens is, when we look to the front, 3, 2, 1. If you look to the front, if we have this one-on-one, some of you, when you were one-on-one, you were standing like this. You do. Because I don't trust him. Because if he's, I don't know, then I'm still standing. So now, was it easier or more difficult with 3? More difficult. Because sometimes, please have a look. Because sometimes we need to be tough, right? Strong. But sometimes I need to be soft. I need to be open. Sometimes strong to create this equilibrium, and sometimes open. This is leadership. Sometimes strong, sometimes open. This is feminine and strong, masculine. Thank you. It's both what we learned in the Equality Lounge is feminine and masculine, all at the same time in all of us, in all teams, everywhere. So trust means if one of you 3 drops your commitment, what happens with the team? We all collapse. Now imagine we are a big organization and doing the same. So holding commitments is the secret of trust. And when we talk about Rosenberg Institute, trusting our child to the teachers is amazing. And you pay it back being just wonderful, learning, want to grow and change the world. So that is what we wanted to share. Now it's a stage for Rosenberg Institute. You're amazing. Thank you everybody doing this.
Thank you. What an important lesson you taught everybody. Thank you. And what a great
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
I loved it.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
I want to be in touch.
Salim Nummer 2. Seid ihr ready, Leute? Okay. Guys, I know networking and talking is amazing, but we are moving forward to the next format, so please take a seat. And afterwards, you will have time during the dinner to talk. Craig? Thank you. Please take a seat so we can move forward. Ready? Shh. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. I have 2 little boys, 1.5 and 3 years, and I'm thinking already about what for an education should I offer to my children? What do I want them to learn? How do I see them educated from 6 to 12 years? Recently, I saw a video where it's about Matrix was not an action movie, it's a documentary. So the first 6 years, we are a sponge, and everything what we observe becomes our reality. So education is key when we talk about systemic change. And I'm super grateful to announce or welcome one of the leading education institutes in the world called Institut auf dem Rosenberg. And they're going to showcase something amazingly developed through their students. And without any further words, it's your stage, guys.
Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Are we feeling generous? Yes. Good. My name is Petra, and we are the students of Institut auf dem Rosenberg. And tonight, we're excited to share with you the digital artifacts of the Rosenberg Meta, a digital ecosystem that we've designed. So students, aged from 14 to 16, have been working on this platform. And this innovative platform uses digital artifacts to fund impactful initiatives, ranging from education to environmental sustainability. And as previously mentioned, as we are privileged, we also have a responsibility. And with all the resources we have at Rosenberg, this is what we're doing. So we're taking what we're learning from classes and we're applying it. So, without further ado, we want to just say how much we're thankful and how much we're happy to be a part of this commitment to learning and commitment to combine technology with truly meaningful change. Work?
Yeah. Test. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Orik, and as you can see, a student at Institute of the Rosenberg. So, okay, we heard this, digital artifacts, but what are they? So these digital artifacts are unique assets, which are stored on the blockchain, with each one distinct and verifiable. So unlike traditional digital items, these digital artifacts ensure complete ownership and traceability. What's really exciting about this is that they can be used to drive real-world impacts. How? The transparency and security the blockchain technology offers ensures that the funds raised through these digital artifacts directly supports the causes they are designed for, leaving no room for fraud or corruption whatsoever.
Hi, I'm Allegra, and at Rosenberg, we focused on using digital artifacts to fund projects that truly make a difference. So, for example, past digital artifacts have supported education programs and employment initiatives. By linking our work with pioneering projects such as Eliatech, we can fully show all of our transparency towards how you can utilize these funds and how your funds really make a difference.
So, as you guys can see, we have all these QR codes around. With these, if you actually scan them, you guys can go to the window and plant our virtual NFTs. If you point it to the snow, it's very, very interesting. We would also love to invite you tomorrow, starting from 10 a.m. here at the House of Trust, to explore AI activations, to explore our platform designed by students aged 6 to 18. And we would really love to answer any questions you may have and take you on this wonderful journey with us. Also, if you're feeling generous tonight already, you guys can pick up one of these cards, which will take you directly to our website where we sell our NFTs. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Axel, and I just want to talk about the trust and everything. So all proceeds from this week will be going to Artists for Humanity, a charity which helps empower artists, like young and upcoming artists, with new opportunities and creative training. So we are proud to announce that Artists for Humanity is Rosenberg's first official partner, trailing with Eliatech and Transparency. And now I would like to invite Boris Milic to the stage to talk about Eliatech.
Guys, I'm impressed. I thought I'm dealing with next gen and took it a bit more casual, but man, you're smooth, no question.
Yeah,
congratulations, really. I mean, please, big applause for that. That's wow. Jasper, you ready? All right, let's give this a quick walkthrough of how the transparency for the future is going to work, right? You go to the App Store, you download the app of Eliatech. Super simple login, real fast, like the future likes it. You know, we don't want to spoil your time with too much things. Quick KYC, passport verification with a photo, and there you go. There's a globe that is showing you all the possible charities that are onboarded on Eliatech and that are part of the game. You can scroll around for the details, you can scroll around on the map, you can do it any way you like it. It's giving you immediate, quick information. Let's say, let's say you decide for the tiger charity because you're into tigers. You click on it, you go into the details. You see a full breakdown with the needs, the costs, and everything is right there. You decide you want to buy 25 trail cameras. You click on it. There you go. That's the needs. You can either select a preset amount or you select the amount that you want. Let's say you say $45. You go for it. You donate. There you go. Your transaction is gone. It went through the system. It's fully verified. It's track and traced. You see where it is. You see how it was spent. You see by who it was spent, for who, with who, and etc. and etc. Full breakdown. Super easy. You can get into the details if you want to have more. You can go back And if you click on the verified button, you get the entire breakdown of what happened with it, where did it go, and etc. etc. That's it, designed for you guys, because you're definitely the future. Thank you.
So again, we just want to greatly thank you for joining us tonight, and it has been truly a privilege to share these ideas with you. So, thank you.
So I'd like to thank you very much and hope to see you soon tomorrow at 10 a.m. here at the House of Trust.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Great job, guys. Check, check, check. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is what gives me hope. This is what gives me hope. A generation who is looking for solutions. Amazing job. And because we want to be generous and we talk about our privilege, we have committed ourselves with Yes We Trust that every membership that we're going to do in the next 10 days during Davos, we're going to commit 100% to the charities and foundations. That's our contribution to it. Okay. Maya, are you ready? So, I love that I'm surrounded with people who are sharpening me, who are pointing out the points I can improve myself. And Maya is one of these amazing humans. I appreciate you. And she's presenting today an amazing movie, but also a divine appointment. What is it about? Maya will tell you more.
Love you. Hi, guys. Can you raise your hand if you were here last night? Oh, I'm so happy that most of you weren't, because I'm going to do a replay. So I was asked to share just a drop about who I am and what does it mean to have a divine appointment. I am so blinded by these lights. So I'm going to suggest to you that if you're here at Davos, you came here for a divine appointment. What that means is you came here for a reason. How many of you know what that reason is? Raise your hands. You know why you came to Davos? We're halfway through the program. It would be a good time to figure it out, right? So a divine appointment means that something called you here. And I'm going to suggest to you that being in this room now with us at Yes We Trust is part of the divine appointment. And I'm going to give you a question to help you reflect to yourself what that actually is. So drippy drop on me. I had a nice resume. I wrote 15 books on how to make your dreams come true and live with more passion and purpose. Was on Oprah a few times. Worked with 3 United States presidents. I built 14 schools in Kenya. I had a company, I guess I still do at one level, Dream University, and a graduate program called the Meaning Institute, talking to people about how to live meaningful lives. And at the top of my game, after one of my most successful events, I started asking myself this question: what's mine to do? Life is short, and I had this sense that just because I was good at something didn't mean it was the only thing that I was here to do. And I wondered if I started saying no, and no thank you, and no more, and no way, and really developed a practice of discernment and clearing away what was no longer true, I wondered what would emerge. As we say no more, we can actually start to say now what. And at the top of my game, I must admit, I pulled the plug and I walked away from my business. Now, some of you might think this is crazy. Certainly my friends and family thought I had lost my mind, but I was on this exploration of what is mine to do? What am I called to do? And my discernment practice was, if somebody else could do it, it wasn't mine to do. And if it didn't really light me up and give me passion, I was going to have the courage to say no thank you. And I did. I cleared a lot away. I followed my heart and followed a dream and moved to Rome for 3 years, a little bit lost as I was de-identifying with who I was. Then I moved to Lisbon, and now I live in Paris. And I don't want to say one thing in the midst of my story because I don't want to forget to say it. And that is, by saying no more to what's no longer true, you have energy for what really matters to you. And I'm hoping that one of the things that matters to you is to become a member of Yes, We Trust. We haven't been pitching membership at all. So this is like a tiny little invitation for you to say, wow, I like what's happening here. I like the energy. I like what this company stands for. I like the people and the community. So Yuri, are you in the room? So it's hard to see you, but you can see Yuri. He's in charge of membership. We have a member club. We're building Soho-type villages in different places around the world. We have the Impact Fund that you saw last night, but we're really about supporting education and committed to making the world a better place. So I just didn't want to forget to pop that in. If you don't find Yuri, you can go to the website, Yes, We Trust, and consider being a member. We're hosting events all through the year in different cities, and it'll be a chance to get together with some of the wonderful people you're meeting here and us. Okay, so back to the story. So what happened to me was I started losing a lot of my loved ones. My mom passed. A year later, my dad passed. My sister passed. My 2 dogs, my little Yorkies, Chow and Bella, passed. And I went into a lot of grief, and I got really sick. And I decided to take care of myself. I went to Thailand for a month, and I rested. And I sat with this question of what's mine to do. I was praying, I was writing, I was journaling, I was walking on the beach, I was working out, I was getting healthy and strong. And while I was in Thailand, I got an invitation to come deliver a keynote. And I said, I don't do that anymore. It's been 8 years. And my friends were like, please, we know you're the right person. So I said, okay, I'll give a keynote if I can call it a divine appointment. And I didn't even know exactly what it meant at the time. So I showed up in Mexico and I gave this talk about what's yours to do, following your heart, saying no to what's no longer true. And at the end of my talk, this little white-haired man came up to me, and he said, I loved your talk. Will you come hear mine? And I said, well, who are you? He said, I'm Louis Schwartzberg. And I said, the cinematographer from Fantastic Fungi and Gratitude Revealed and some of my favorite movies in the world. He said, yeah, will you come hear my talk? So I went to hear Louis' talk, and Louis spoke about his new movie called Hidden Beauty. And every cell in my body said, this is what I'm waiting for. Like, I found my divine appointment. And by the way, it's not one. It's not necessarily a moment in time. If you start to open up your mind and say, I came to Davos for a divine appointment. I'm here to meet someone who's going to make a difference in my life. I came to hear a message that's really important. I talked to many people over the last few days who told me they're ready for a change, but they don't know what it is. They're looking for the what's next thing. That's the opportunity to invite in a divine appointment. And you start to listen to conversations differently. You start to view the world through a different lens when you're in the exploration of what's mine to do. So I want to show you the trailer, the preview of the premiere of the Hidden Beauty movie, so you can get a little taste of what we're working on. It's just 3 minutes, and then I just have a few more words after that. So if we can kill the light and roll the movie, that would be great. Woo!
As a filmmaker, I really love to capture beauty. Opening your eyes to the wisdom, the intelligence, the wonder of nature. And when that happens, it opens your heart. Because you get to look at life from the point of view of a flower, a hummingbird, a redwood tree. And once you see it from that perspective, your worldview will change forever. Beauty is that elixir, that muse that drives us to want to love, to protect, to reproduce, Evolution is a force of energy. It orchestrates the dance of life.
Around me are plants that have existed for hundreds of millions of years. And if we look out into nature, there's absolutely no straight lines. Everything's got contour to it. Everything is spiraling through space-time.
You're looking into a mirror. It is those patterns that are reflected over and over. When you look at the internet, it looks like the mycelium, which looks like your nervous system, which looks like your neurological pathways in your brain. It's all a reflection of a genius pattern that has been perfected over billions of years.
Some people think attractiveness is beauty. We're not talking about that. Beauty is radiance.
But I think there's also this inner relationship to oneself that makes people beautiful.
Beauty is one of the most underutilized modalities of healing. When we are in beautiful environments, when we're looking at inspirational art, it changes the brain.
Beauty is a being. It's not a thought process from humans. Beauty just is because it's all around us.
I think that love is actually a byproduct of beauty. You have to have beauty first to turn on the senses, and then when that occurs, your life is different.
When you see yourself in an object, that's beauty. But when you see yourself in a sentient being or a person, that's love.
You will always protect what you love, and that shapes all of our behavior. We love the planet, and when we do that, not only do we want to protect it, but we also allow life to flourish.
Yay, Louie. Amazing to see it on a big screen. Thank you for sharing that moment with me. Louis is one of the world's leading cinematographers in nature photography. If you go to the Sphere in Las Vegas, from Earth Day of last year for the next 2 years, his images are being projected. He just produced a movie with Meryl Streep about saving the bees. And he's brilliant at making movies, and he didn't know how to ask for money. That landed in the room. So I'm sitting with Louis, and I said, I want to help. What do you need? He said, I need $3 million. And I said, that's outside my comfort zone. And he said, for $100,000, we can move into development. And I went into my heart, what's mine to do? I love beauty. And by the way, this is not a movie about just nature. That we're very aware there's a dark side of beauty right now with young girls comparing themselves to influencers. It's a very deep subject. And so anyway, I gave him the $100,000. I took it out of my retirement fund because it was mine to do, and that was my divine appointment. He made me the executive producer of the movie. And I said, why? I'm only giving you $100,000. You need $3 million. And he said to me, you're the fire starter. And he reminded me that who I was 8 years ago, my friends lovingly referred to me as the Dream Queen. And I had forgotten that's who I was. And in the last 3 months of working with Louis, I've helped him raise $2 million. So we're $1 million away from our goal. If your dream is to be an executive producer and to play in the Hollywood world, Louis is incredibly connected. We think the world premiere is going to happen at the Great Wall of China. I mean, this is serious stuff. So for $350,000, you can become an executive producer. And I want to leave you with this little bit. What made the difference was Louis felt, he's the child of Holocaust survivors. He has a mentality about asking for money. And he said to me, I can't get on stage and pitch or sell related to my message. And I taught him that he's not selling from the stage. He's inspiring and inviting. And if you can remember these 2 words, it will make a difference in how you ask for money. I'm sure that the business or the projects that you're working on are already inspiring. Most of us are pretty good in that department, but we suck at in making the invitation and saying, would you like to? So I literally had to write out for him on an index card, I'm currently fundraising for my new movie. Would you, if you'd like to be involved, please come see me. And he would call me like right before he was ready to go on stage, and he would say, what's the line again? He had such a block to it, but the first time he did it, somebody gave him $250,000, and he called me crying. He said, I can't believe this works. I said, go do it again. And he went and he did it again, and the next person gave him $300,000. And he said to me, my dream queen, where have you been? He said, before me, it used to take him 10 years to raise the money and be in production, and we're doing this in less than 2. So I wanted to leave you with something really valuable. Inspire and invite people to support you. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's a connection or a relationship or a resource. Please speak from your heart about what it is that matters to you and invite people to join you. So you can join me, you can email me, maya@dreamuniversity.com, or just talk to me, and also consider becoming a member, because I'm a stockholder, a shareholder, and a mentor in the company. We'd love to have you join us. Thank you.
Beautiful, Maya. Okay, guys. One more format, and then we go for dinner. Who is hungry? And before we do so, the next project and the last one is finca.org. The first contact point was Payel. And we had a Zoom call, and with some people, you just click on a deep level, and that's what happened. And today we have Colin, the heart of Finca, Payel and Alex, representing finca.org, and they are working since years, relentlessly committed to end poverty. They are a charity, they are doing micro-lending, they have a venture arm, impact investing. And without any further words, first we're going to show a video, and then they're going to talk about their amazing work that they're doing. Let's go.
Poverty is not the result of a lack of ability. People living in poverty are brimming with talent and wisdom, and they are willing to work hard to overcome their circumstance. What they lack is the opportunity, the resources and knowledge they need to turn their potential into prosperity and hope. They have little choice but to live out the fate into which they were born, struggling to make ends meet, without the means to build a better life for themselves, their families, and their communities. Many have decided that this is just the way things are, that poverty, hardship, and lack of opportunity are simply part of the natural order, but they are wrong. There is a growing social movement of people who know there is a better way. A social movement rooted in the belief that the solution to poverty can be found by unleashing people's ingenuity, creativity, and commitment, by giving everyone the opportunity to find a path to prosperity for themselves, their families, and their communities. Since 1984, Finca has worked at the forefront of that humble, hopeful, transformative, social movement. We believe that human potential is the world's greatest and most abundant resource. Our work is living proof of what can be achieved when human potential is met with real opportunity. We see it every day. When an unemployed woman has a chance to start her own business, when a cattle farmer receives a loan to grow his herd, or a coconut farmer learns a more efficient way to manage her crops. We see it when a grandmother receives a loan to bring solar light into her home, so her grandchildren can study at night and build a better life for themselves. And when a young entrepreneur receives funding to create a new product or service that helps marginalized people thrive and provides good jobs along the way. Offering people the opportunity to live up to their fullest potential is the solution to breaking the cycle of poverty around the world. And as people overcome poverty in their own lives, they build a world of possibility and prosperity for others. Finca is at the forefront of this humble, hopeful, peaceful, social movement, built around the simple belief that everyone deserves the chance to achieve their fullest potential. We prove every day that unleashing people's wisdom, talent, and work ethic is the best way to create a more hopeful, just, and prosperous world. We invest in human potential. Join us.
Stefan, collaborating with you and Yes, We Trust means a great deal to us, in large part because we collectively understand the meaning of trust. We know it's the glue of life, we know it's the glue of relationships, and we know it's the glue of this community that invited Finca to be here tonight. Thank you. So I'll just explain what we're going to do over the next half hour because we don't want to be long between you and dinner. My name is Colleen, and Alex, who is a member of the Finca UK board, will start by sharing some lessons learned from 40 years of high-impact investing at Finca. Pyle has been an amazing new positive person who came into Finca this past year, and she's helping to expand our Finca Ventures work. And doing so in a way that we demonstrate how financial empowerment combined with visionary entrepreneurship can make transformative and generational change. So we want to give a lot of time to Pyle. So, thanks. I want to start by sharing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a terrible public speaker, so I love that the two of you are telling me what I'm doing wrong, so thank you. I just want to put this down and just talk. Just bear with me and shout out if you can't hear me. If we had one lesson to share about what is the most valuable lesson that Finca learned in the past 40 years, it is to never lose sight of your North Star. You're going to face failure, you're going to face chaos, and you're going to face disruptions. But that doesn't matter. Your North Star is everything. And we have learned that in Finca day in and day out. And trust me, every day, somewhere in the world we work, there are crises, there are disruptions, there is violence, and we just have to keep on keeping on. And so at Finca, we do believe that every person has the opportunity to leverage their wisdom, talent, and work ethic to be able to determine their own destiny. This too really struck me with Yes, We Trust, because I believe you have the same vision statement as Finca's. Now, our origin story is an important anchor point in that vision statement. When our founders started Finca 40 years ago, everyone else thought they were delusional because they wanted to prove that poor farmers are bankable. They knew if farmers could unlock productivity, they could rise above their current circumstances. They also knew that women are the linchpin to success for their families and for their communities to develop their own pathways out of poverty. What was missing was the fact that capital was not available to farmers. Traditional banks, the loans were too large, too expensive, and farmers didn't have collateral to be able to access them. So the founders of Finca came up with this idea. They thought if farmers joined in groups and they took a loan out together and they agreed in repaying it together, then that could unlock credit that they could access and make improvements to their farming operations. Their first POC worked, the second POC worked, and so on and so on and so on. And soon, Finca's Village Banking was born. And soon after, Finca Village Banks, mostly comprised of women organizing groups, became engines of development in rural communities around the world, and this became known as the dawn of microlending. Fast forward today, 40 years, microlending is internationally recognized as a poverty reduction tool in development, and globally, microlending is a $250 billion market. Microlending has also been called the original social enterprise because it proved and scaled financial services to the poor. It has been the inspiration for the global growing movement of social entrepreneurship. Fast forward to Finca 40 years. We have invested or operated in 55 countries. That is 28% of the countries around the world. We also, last year, had a balance sheet of $870 million. Our global loan portfolio was $360 million, with the average loan for men just above $1,600 and the average loan for women $1,300. Finca directly impacts 14 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and we are fully aligned to SDG 1, no poverty, SDG 5, gender equality, and SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. Last year, Finca-funded businesses created 1.2 million jobs. 4,500 of those jobs were created by a Finca Ventures portfolio company, Kentaste. Kentaste, the agronomist, is pictured here. She is training farmers on organic and fair trade certified farming practices, and Kentaste connects these farmers to the international supply chain. As well, Kentaste is rapidly becoming a zero-waste company, and it is our privilege at Finca that our origin story now is intertwined with theirs. Now, there's someone on stage that also has an incredible origin story as he joined Finca, and I'm going to turn it over to Alex.
Thank you, Colleen. Good evening, everyone. It's a real privilege for me to be here with you tonight. Thank you for taking the time to come to listen to us. As Colleen mentioned, I joined the Finca board in the UK about 2 years ago. And at that time, I was looking for a non-profit to support. And there were a few things that drew me to Finca. One of the things that drew me to Finca was my personal experience with microlending. Although I've been privileged enough to live and work in London for the last 20 years, I actually grew up in Malaysia, raised by a single mother who benefited from microlending. When I was 4, my father died very suddenly in an accident. And at that time, my mother was 7 months pregnant with my brother. And our lives changed dramatically and very suddenly. And there were constant struggles with money and many months and days when we simply didn't have enough. And back in those days, a woman, a widow, who was poor and didn't have a great job, had no chance of getting a loan from a bank. But fortunately, she had access to a lending circle in a local community. And a lending circle is a very basic form of village and community banking, form of micro-lending. And how it works was a group of people, usually women, would get together and each one of them would put a little bit of money in a pot on a regular basis. And anyone who was part of that circle could draw down a loan from that pot when they needed it. And although the amounts of money involved were very small, it had a profound impact on people like my mother and other women who had access to the funding circle. It just took some of the stress off, and it allowed people like someone like my mother to keep her head above the water, just enough to breathe, just enough to survive. But equally importantly, it had profound impact on the family members as well, because it allowed people like my brother and I to not have to live under the suffocating stress and weight of poverty. It allowed us to focus on our education and try to build a better life for ourselves. So in the case of my family, with the help of one form of micro-lending, in one generation, we went from being a family that was at the margin to fulfilling our potential. It allowed my mother to keep the family afloat. It allowed my brother to study hard and go to medical school. He's a doctor now in Australia. And it allowed me to go to law school, get into finance, and here I am today with all of you in Davos. So from my personal experience, I know that the work that Finca is doing can have a profound impact on all of those people who are living on the margins of poverty. It'll give them some room to breathe, and it'll give them room to reach their potential. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to join Finca. But I also had to do some due diligence, need to do some more investigation, because Finca is not the only micro-lender in the market. And I liked what I saw, I liked what I read. I felt that Finca had a very proven and effective way of delivering impact. But there was one thing in particular that stood out to me, and what I think of as the Finca difference. And I wanted to take the time to tell you a little bit about that. Finca has an extensive network of field officers and field staff, 9,000 field staff, who are making direct and regular contact with our clients every day. And what's also important is that the vast majority of this field staff live and work in the same communities. 92% of them live where they work. And again, this is profoundly important to the work that we do. And with this incredible network and field staff, we're able to reach 9 million people each year. 9 million people. That's the population of Switzerland, I believe. And today, before I move on to the next slide, I just wanted to take the time to tell you about 3 of these people that we reach, 3 of Finca's clients. And these are these 3 lovely ladies. Whoops, back one slide. 3 lovely ladies on this slide. They are Molly, Susan, and Agnes, who run a dressmaking business in Bwele, Uganda. Each of them have come from extreme poverty and bootstrapped their way to success. And in this photo, they've just left the Finca Bwele office, having got their loan approved for the dressmaking business. And each one of them is wearing one of their own creations. I told my wife that my favorite dress is the one on the left, the one with the red spots. And she said, fine, as long as you only wear it on weekends. So Molly, Susan, and Agnes are what we call micro-business owners. And they're one of the types of clients that Finca supports. And we often get asked, so who do you support? What types of clients do you support? Who do you serve? So I wanted to take a moment to explain that to you as well. So we serve 3 types of clients. We try to focus on 3 types of clients. Smallholder farmers, families who are on the margin of poverty, and micro-business owners. We don't just lend exclusively to these 3 types of clients, but we tend to focus on them. And the reason for that is because from the 40 years of doing this and the 40 years of lessons learned, we feel that these 3 types of clients are the ones who are most likely to be living in poverty. And we feel that the work that we can do would add the most value to these 3 types of clients, so we can generate the most impact with these clients. And as Colleen always says, we know that our clients are full of wisdom, talent, and work ethic. And they have in themselves what they need to unleash their potential and lift themselves out of poverty. So this is a good time for me to hand it back to Colleen, who can tell you a little bit more about how they can do that.
Thank you, Alex. quick note on Alex. He is a standard for our Finca board members. Thank you. The Finca's approach to how we help unleash human potential is quite simple. We listen to our clients. They tell us very directly what they need to get out of poverty, to stay out of poverty, and how they can progress. There is consensus among clients continuously as we talk to them that they need three things. One, they need a better livelihood to be able to meet the basic needs for their family. Two, they want resilience, and that gets expressed in, I'm afraid of falling back on hard times. I'm afraid of falling back on poverty. I want to be able to invest enough in my long-term security and in the prosperity of my family because I know another crisis is ahead of us. And they also want to invest in quality education for their children, just as Alex's mom did, because they know that's the way to break the intergenerational cycle of poverty. And our job at Finca is to give them the most effective products, the most affordable products, the most accessible products, so that our clients can find their own pathways out of poverty and move towards progress. Our next slide. So, the Finca story is still yet to be fully written. And as we celebrate our 40th anniversary, we have set a goal of reaching 40 million new clients in the next 5 years. That is double the number of clients we reached in the last 40 years. So yes, we are delusional. We have three main strategies in how we are going to reach those clients. And two of them I'm going to save for dinner if you're interested in learning about 361 and the Poverty Eradication Lab. The third one, we're going to turn it over to Payal soon to talk about Finca Ventures and what game-changing startups can do. The last thing I wanted to say before I do that is I wanted to talk about. There's a point I did want to talk about, and you see, I'm much better just sitting across the table than on a stage. But Finca isn't your typical charity, and I hope you see that by now. And that's given our market-based focus. And we have the pleasure of working with a wide variety of donors and investors across the capital continuum. That's from grants and philanthropy to results-based financing, to debt and equity investing. And so, Alex, before we turn it over to Payal, I think the most valuable lessons that we learn are when we have opportunities to come to the field and bring back our first-hand accounts. And I'm hoping you can share a couple of your reflections from visiting Zambia recently.
Definitely, Colleen. And as you say, it's one of the most valuable experiences that we can get by going out in the field, and it's one of the greatest privileges I have as a board member of Finca. And every time I do a field visit, I feel deeply moved, inspired, and humbled at the same time. And I visited our Zambia operations in October of last year, and as usual, we spent a lot of time visiting our clients. And there were a few of those visits that really stuck to my mind. The first of one was a visit to this lady called Julie Sikombe, who runs a restaurant and a poultry farm. I'll never forget her because she was a real matriarch, a real force of nature and a real lion of a woman. And the reason why this visit stuck with me was because it helped me to appreciate that the way Finca looked at our clients was, rather than one-off transactions, we saw them as long-term relationships to work with and support. And that's what we try to do with our clients, because we know that it takes them time to grow their businesses, and it takes them time to unleash their potential. So with Julie, and she's been a client of Finca for the last 15 years, she started with a 5,000 kwacha loan from Finca, and that's about $200. And with that loan, she renovated her restaurant, and it allowed her to grow her business and do better. And for the remainder of the 15 years, Finca continued to support her along the way and help her to take on more loans and expand her business. And the last loan she took with us, the most recent loan she took with us was for 100,000 kwacha, and that's about $4,000 to start a poultry farm. And again, that's been doing extremely well. But Julie, like everyone else in Zambia, has to work under some really difficult conditions. Because when we were there, there was, rolling power cuts. Because Zambia depends heavily on hydroelectric, hydropower electricity, and there was a drought. So they were cutting electricity 4 to 5 days a week without warning. So what this meant for someone like Julie was many of her clients don't buy as many chickens from her anymore because they don't have working refrigerators to store them in. So simple day-to-day practical problems really cause a lot of problems for people like Julie. But Finca is standing by her, and we continue to support her, offering her the flexibility that she needs. So when we visited Julie in her house, first of all, she was really proud of what she's achieved, and she should be. She was also deeply grateful to Finca for the long relationship we built with her and the long support that we provided her. The other visit that stuck to my mind was a visit we made to one of to Good Nature Agro, this company called Good Nature Agro, a company that Finca Ventures invested in. So the problem that Good Nature Agro was trying to solve was the fact that many farmers in Zambia were planting maize. And that's a very low yield and low priced crop. And that makes it very difficult for them to go beyond subsistence farming and lift themselves out of poverty. Some of the farmers tried to plant legumes, which is better yielding and better price, but very often the legumes are susceptible to disease, and they don't often get the best price in the market because they're undercut. So what Good Nature Agro tries to do is, first of all, they source and produce the highest quality legume seeds. So they want to move the farmers onto legumes. They source the highest quality legume seeds, and they sell it to the farmers, along with a financing package, along with a training package, teaching them the best practices of farming. And they also, and this is a really important part, and they also contract to buy back from the farmers the crop that they produce at a premium price. So when their clients, these farmers who work with Good Nature Agro, go through this cycle a few times, they're able to move beyond subsistence farming and lift themselves out of poverty. In fact, farmers who are with Good Nature Agro earn 3 times the income that they used to. And a good sign of how successful Good Nature Agro has been is to see the number of farmers that have signed up. So when they started in 2014, they had 40 farmers signed up. So today they've got 20,000 farmers signed up. Huge. So this particular visit, helped me to appreciate, how we can make an impact by investing in the right company. Because rather than going farmer to farmer, all of a sudden we are reaching 20,000 farmers and having an impact on them through the work we do with Finca Ventures. And that's really powerful. So this is a good moment for me to bring in Payal, because she's been very actively involved in Finca Ventures, particularly in Africa. So Payal, perhaps you could take a moment to share some of the lessons we've learned through Finca Ventures' work in Africa.
Can you guys hear me over? Okay, perfect. I'd be happy to share some of the lessons. We actually go and visit the countries where Finca serves, so everything we've learned is firsthand. We all know this, but this is probably the biggest lesson we've learned, is that Africa does not need saving. It needs scaling. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. And that's a hard one to learn. And so what we wanted to share with you is some stories, but some data and some investment snippets through storytelling. So this is Esther. Alex and I actually met her in Chapata, Zambia, when we were there back in September. She's a legumes farmer. She's holding her baby in her arms, a mom, while she's working in the farm, but she's also holding a phone. She's not on social media. She's actually using the phone to get some hyper-local weather forecasting and some very tailored soil health advice from our Finca Ventures portfolio companies so that she can double her crop yield. So when you look at her, Esther, she's not asking for charity. She's showing us what is possible when innovation meets opportunity. And that is another lesson that we learned, is that it's not always charity that is needed or should be offered. It's what is it that the customer or the client needs, or the person or the human being needs. So in my view, if we're not already investing in Africa, we're not just missing out. Guys, we're already behind. And why? Here's another lesson. The demographic momentum in Africa is palpable. Okay? 40 years of Finca being around the world has shown us that. And so what we are going to focus on is the stats. I'm sorry, I'm not clicking in the right spots. 1 in every 4 of us by 2050 is going to be African. So let that sink in. 1 in every 4 people on this planet. So it's not just about population growth. It's about the fact that there will be more people who are going to have more needs. There are going to be more people who have more financial means to buy things, more mobile phones, more mobility, more first-time drivers, more first-time smartphone users, more health, more education, all the things that we're talking about here, right? And so this demographic tailwind that's nowhere else to be found but in Africa in this magnitude is very powerful. And yes, Africa needs more time than other markets, okay? We know that from investing. But investing there has a multi-generational effect, like no other. Instantly and directly, when you help a mother, you're helping the son or the daughter go to college, and then go do something even bigger, very much like Alex's story, right? And so the demographic momentum's there, and then there's all this growth that's happening in front of our eyes. But you might be wondering, who's driving this growth? And the answer is that the entrepreneurs driving this growth are already here. And they are impact-driven themselves, they are tech-enabled themselves, and brace yourselves, 40% of them coming out of Africa are women. Yeah. So when these women invest in their businesses, they lift more women, very much like Alex's story, right? So Finca Ventures has basically spent the last 6 years proving that African entrepreneurs, okay, are very capable and ready to solve the world's toughest challenges, not just theirs, climate issues, all sorts of things that are coming at the world. We screened 1,500 companies, businesses across Africa. We've invested 7.7 million of our own balance sheet and into 32 early stage companies across Africa. And we've only had 5 markdowns since 2018. So what does that mean? That means that 27 out of 32 of our companies are catalyzing $67 million in follow-on equity. And they're driving a multiple, a 1.4 MOIC, multiple on invested capital, by themselves. And this is despite the global pandemic that happened since 2018, and all the while they are transforming lives of 12 million people. So our companies are very interesting to investors, right? And we're excited to back them, help build them and sustain them, because we know that they work, we know that they're already changing lives, and we know what is working in our portfolio. So here's 2 examples. We have on your left, we have an ag tech pioneer, Ignitia. They operate globally. And then on your right, we have an ed tech innovator, Rising Academies. They operate in West Africa. So we know what success looks like, and we're doubling down on them. Our portfolio isn't a track record. It's really a launching pad for scale and impact. And for every dollar we've invested thus far, we have been able to impact 1.5 lives, which I think is pretty impressive. But here's the plot twist. It's not about money, or just about money, okay? So for us, it's really important to create support so that these entrepreneurs can thrive, to have ecosystems, Finca's ecosystem, be extended out to them. And so whether it be agronomy support or financial literacy, or it be corporate governance help, or grant writing, our support is available to them and is as hands-on and as dynamic as the entrepreneurs that we support. And we're really, really proud of that. And people ask, what's Finca's secret sauce? Well, it's not our funding. It's not that we have skin in the game. It's not that we have deep networks where we can source pipeline and we can find co-investors. I truly believe that it is our ability to focus on precision. And what do I mean by that? Finca has proprietary data tools, and I'm going to talk about 3 ways that we measure impact. So the first one is not here, this is the second one, but we do primary data collection at Finca. What that means is we measure data at the core, impact at the core. We want to understand what our customers want, and that way we can help our businesses give the customers what they need and create solutions that are needed and that work, and figure out where the innovation really is. Second of all, which is what you're seeing here, is Validata. It's our real-time KPI dashboards. And this tracks impact across Finca so that we can have accountability for every dollar that goes through the system. And last but not least, which is not pictured here, is our newest tool. It's a generative AI tool that is new and proprietary to Finca. It's called Aura. And basically, that one has the power and the potential to help us fine-tune our investments before we make the investment in our portfolio. And how are we doing that? Well, the AI is helping us figure out how strong is the evidence before an intervention is made. So, data without action is noise. And what Finca is doing really well is that it's orchestrating data into a symphony of 2 things, growth and impact. And I just want to share with you that Finca is very, very diversified, and its geography, the sectors, but it's impact obsessed. So every investment that we make into our portfolio, every single one goes through 2 filters, 2 very powerful impact filters, gender and climate. Okay, and I don't need to tell you again why those 2 are important, right? So we find that when we use that kind of way of finding the next companies that are going to scale and solve problems for the world, it's creating a portfolio that's in front of you that's very holistic, okay? And so we're very proud of our diversification and our impact lens on top of that. And we know that women are key, so we are keeping our lens on that. 44% of our portfolio companies are women-led. And we're trying to up that number even higher. Every dollar that goes through Finca, whether it be a donation you give or a grant you make, or an investment, a pure investment like into ventures, every dollar has this huge multiplier effect that we keep talking about. And so for us, it's not just about box checking. It's truly what it's going to take for us to be game changing. She's not pictured here, but I met Mama Georgette, who is my favorite matriarch, when I went to Congo in June. Mama Georgette somehow borrowed $40 from Finca some 30 years ago, somehow recycled, compounded the power of those $40, a microloan, and was able to send her son to college. And today he works at the central bank in DRC. And she is just amazing. And so, yeah, like those stories, when you go travel and you meet her and you hug her and you see what she's been able to do, are truly inspiring and remind me why Finca does what we do. So we're building resilience for really, this is our goal, our 10-year target for Finca Ventures, is we want 25 million more Mama Georgettes by 2035, in 10 years. And it's not about numbers, guys, because that's in the VC world, we're always talking numbers. This is about names, faces, lives, futures, and their generations, right, that we want to impact. So we just have to all come together, I feel, like-minded impact investors, progressive family offices, institutional impact investors, foundations, DFIs, donors. We just have to come to corporate brands, banks. I mean, if we can come together as a collective, and invest in areas where we think it's going to really move the needle. That's what's going to take at the end of the day. A change in mindset, a little bit longer investment outlook, 10 to 15 years for Africa especially, and collaboration. And I know we can do that. But at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. So I hope that you will invest with us, with Finca Ventures. We have reserved 20% of any funds that we raise in the future. We specifically allocated it to strategic reinvestments into our select existing portfolio companies. It's a very strategic move. And so we hope you'll invest with us, and you're not here by accident. And so let's stay in touch, and this is how you can find us. And we're going to be actually playing while dinner's going and the party's going, a slideshow of our personal travel photos, okay, that we've taken, because none of the pictures we've shown you today are stock photos. Those are actual clients with stories. And so please enjoy our travel photos and excuse our photography in some of them. And we look forward to mingling with you at dinner. And thank you for having us, Steph. You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the amazing work. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Okay, guys, we're going to move forward to the dinner. So you're invited to go in the back part of the room. We're going to remove the chairs. And yeah, the dinner is co-hosted through Finca and Yes We Trust. So enjoy the food and create valuable relationships. Peace and out.